Frenemies podcast.
I hate people just like that are you. You're the person I hate in this world.
Really?
That's so just offensive, but they do nothing wrong. And when people are provoked, oh, they're crazy, calling girls crazy and stuff like that, it's like, but taking no accountability, no responsibility. You think everything's just an attack against you. Everyone's against Ethan.
If you've been living under a rock, you don't know what that is. It's pretty much the biggest podcast on YouTube nowadays. Averaging millions of views per video, it's just the biggest out there. Ethan, Klein and Trisha Paytas, once mortal enemies, turned to friends, I guess. Or well, frenemies. The two started out just not liking each other. They had Twitter beef and they just generally just didn't like each other. Then Trisha came on Ethan's podcast a couple times and the dynamic just sort of worked. About 18 episodes, maybe 20 max. Let's just say there's only been about 3 times it's been close to ending. I don't know whether it's actually been close to ending or whether it was just for dramatic effect, whether it's fake, but it didn't seem fake. They're just both very like, I don't know, flamboyant personalities. Especially Trisha, she has a very short fuse, and so it's kind of hard to do a project and like a podcast with someone who's kind of like that. I'll show you now multiple meltdowns and just arguments they've had on the podcast.
My shit all the time, but her, don't fucking mention her name. Dumb fucking bitch.
Okay.
I think we should just end it, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too.
She's such a fucking bitch.
She's not.
And you are too, and you're a fucking cuck.
You
have no fucking backbone.
All right, you should leave. We'll talk later. Yeah, you should get out.
I am going, but we're not talking later. Fucking.
Yeah, it's really been a bit rocky. That's the point, I guess, of the podcast. People tune into Frenemies because it isn't like your average podcast. Trisha and Ethan are both very problematic people, especially Trisha. They always have gossip and drama to talk about and always end up getting involved in some sort of scandal. And hey, that's how you keep your relevancy. You know, like that's how Jake Paul kept his. Ethan's usually the calm one in the podcast and Trisha seems to be very like all over the place, you know what I mean? Like very loud. They always dress up weirdly for the podcast. I mean, there's been a couple times it's been normal, but except for that, they always seem to be wearing like weird costumes and stuff. I don't really get that, but honestly at this point I don't know how long Frenemies is gonna last. It seems to go in and out of like, oh, we're gonna keep going, we're not gonna keep going, we're gonna keep going, we're not gonna keep going, and like that's like the bad part, I guess. It's like the good thing about the podcast, but it also makes it bad in a sense. Good, that's what drives people to watch it. Do you know what I mean? That's what makes people want to watch it. You don't know how long it's gonna go on for. At the same time, the uncertain future of like, oh, will they keep it going? But I guess if there's a big enough fallout, like there has been quite a few, and we're only, you know, I'd say 4 or 5 months into the creation of the podcast. Maybe, I don't really think that's rough, but you know. What makes Frenemies good, I think, is what makes it bad in a sense. Uncertainty of, oh, well, how long is this gonna last? Do you know what I mean? Trisha actually recently got engaged to Moses, which is Ethan's wife's brother. So they're kind of family now, in a weird way, and that's scary to think about. But I think it's good for the podcast in a sense because it means they can't just abandon it and just be like, oh, we're not talking again. Do you know what I mean? Which is, with those two, be like a high probability that could just happen, you know, anytime. Moses and Gila being siblings, I think is really good. Gila's obviously the wife of Ethan and Moses now is, you know, soon-to-be husband of Trisha. It just makes them family, and so it's like you can't turn your back on family. Oh, Trisha's one of them people, once again, that is not very likable, but it's just one of them things where you want to watch her. She's entertaining. You know, most entertaining people often aren't likable. That's the way things are. Controversy is what keeps people relevant. At the end of the day, that's like the key for both of their success, I think. I think it must be nice right now in this podcast because he's the only time where he isn't the most controversial person in the room. Eyes are crazy, innit? Jesus. It's just weird. I don't know. It kind of creeps me out. I don't like it. Both roughly the same age as well, which is like another contributing factor as to why I think they get along. They're completely different age ranges. Like the maturity levels would be different, but I think the maturity levels are different. Like Trisha is just like a man-child, really. Well, obviously not a man, but you know what I mean. I don't know. She's very all over the place. I mean, I think you can see from that video, I don't know anymore. I don't really know how to refer to her, but Ethan's definitely like the parent of the podcast. He's the more mature one, and Trisha's definitely the more childish one, who just erupts at any second. Yeah, honestly, I'm looking forward to see where the Frenemies podcast goes. I really like it. Can't say I'm a consistent watcher of it. You know, I'll just be lying to you. I go in and out of it. I'll watch a couple episodes, then I'll not watch it for weeks, and then I'll watch another couple, and then, you know what I mean? I think that's the thing with YouTube. You don't always have to watch things the second they come out. It's not going away anytime soon. You know, people don't really delete the videos or anything, so... Especially when they're getting millions of views like this podcast. Honestly, the Rise of Frenemies is crazy, and who knows how big it can get. Do you know what I mean? If it keeps going up and up, it's great for both their careers, to say the least. Yeah, fine guys, all very much for watching the video. Like down below if you did enjoy, and subscribe right down there if you're not already. See you in the next one. Stay safe, and peace out.